Okay. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me to listen to another interview with the masters in the field of mind, body, spirit connection and union. And if that's your first time joining me, I invite you to watch the introductory video I made, and I explained about the context and the intention I have behind this series. And today I'm so excited to introduce to you a master in the field of mind and body, spirit union. And if I want to talk about Hamid, first his name is Hamid Jabbar. And if I want to talk about Hamid, it literally might take the whole time of our interview. And very humbly introduce himself as a sound healer with a doctorate degree from the UCLA and a master in music from NYU and so many other credits. In the nutshell, Hamid is the teacher of the teachers. So he trains the teachers and the people that they want to teach meditation or sound healing. So Hamid, I know I didn't do the justice, but if you want to add anything to what I said about your work, would you just introduce yourself?
That was pretty close. It was pretty good. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I primarily work with sound and I teach people how to work with sound. So I've now moved more into teaching teachers. So that was all correct. Yeah.
Okay, great, wonderful. So speaking of sound healing, because my intention behind all this is to introduce a lot of healing modalities that we can go over. And one of them is sound healing. So for you as a professional sound healer, what's behind it, the science behind it, and the effect on the body or our psyche or the mind? So what do you have to say about that?
Well, we could spend days talking about
Yes.
how sound works and why sound works with us, but fundamentally we're wired for sound, from birth.
Yeah.
Even before birth, the first sound we hear inside the womb is the sound of our mother's heart beating, and our nervous system then develops with sounds. And so, science really doesn't spend a lot of time trying to research this stuff. It's mainly people in the field.
Mhm.
So, well, we know fundamentally that sound has a power to affect us physically, emotionally, spiritually. And so when we work with sound with people in a meditation setting or a private setting, it's with specific intentions, whatever they're trying to work on. And then, yeah, we use techniques that maybe are not studied so much by the scientific community, but are studied in the real world by people who've experienced it. So,
Yes. And to add what you said, I don't know if you know Nassim Haramein, but he's a scientist and he is really after scientific proof that the whole universe, the whole cosmos is based on the frequency and the sound and the
mm.
vibration, like Tesla was talking about. So, if I may ask, in your own words, what made you to come to this field? And I know you have a lot of scientific educational background. Not this one is not educational, but just
Mm.
how you came to this field.
I started my route into this field from my early life when I was actually a lawyer and I got into meditation. I was working as a music lawyer, entertainment lawyer. And when I got into meditation, finally just finding the peace and quiet with my thoughts and my body really helped me to change my life in many ways, to, find my direction. And I started to teach meditation and yoga to other people. And it just seemed intuitive to me that the sound that was happening in a yoga class or the sound that would be happening in a meditation was very important to the experience. So I started to bring in instruments and experiment, basically, not really trained, and seeing the results of people in my classes and the people that I'm working with. And so from there, I did actually go, I realized there's actually other people doing this, so there are trainings available and people to explore. So I started to explore it more. and found the field of sound healing, you know, that you speak of, where a lot of people are working in different ways, but similar intentions. And from there, from teaching yoga and meditation, the best part of the classes for me was always the sound. So I let go of the teaching the yoga part. And now most of my classes, if I teach one, it's going to be a sound meditation where we do meditation techniques, but we also have the sound to guide us as well. And then, yeah, and then from there, you know, it started to become very popular. There was a time where I would be offering sound classes for free and, you know, have a couple people.
Yes.
And then, you know, studios started to want to offer this. So then studios would approach me and have me work for them and kind of help train their people. And so I started realize like sound is exploding out there right now. So now, you know, people are trying to learn how to do this. And I, a couple of years ago, started a program that I teach twice a year, where I train people to work with sound, whether they have any experience or not. You know, we're all capable, whether we have a music background or not.
Yes, yes. It's great because we are just like walking to my next question, which is, you are the teacher of the teachers. So obviously it shows the demand that there is for this kind of yoga or meditation or the sound healing. So why do you think is that? Because I have one version of idea of why the shift is happening, but in your word, why do you think is that people more and more hungry for learning, practicing, and knowing about sound or meditation or yoga?
I just speak to the sound part because that's the part that I'm currently really tied up in. And it seems to me that if the sound healing field, it's one of the most powerful tools that we have to take people into a very different state of consciousness and to help them. So perhaps what I'm seeing is people who are teaching yoga or working other modalities, maybe they're a Reiki practitioner or massage therapist, and they themselves experience how deep they go in a sound healing or a sound meditation. And they want to offer that to the people that they work with. But they don't know where to start, you know. A lot of what happens, you know, during a sound healing session, your eyes are closed. So if you're not watching, you don't know what they're doing. So it's sort of, you know, people think that, oh my God, there's such complicated things happening. And, you know, usually what they learn is that it's very simple. Like there's not a lot going on. It's just that the instruments we use and the techniques we use are just so powerful in and of themselves. It doesn't require, you know, to be a virtuoso musician or something like that. I think that's kind of the hunger, is people want a tool that really, really helps people go deep within themselves. And I think because our lives are becoming noisier and noisier, just in general, with all kinds of sounds around us, you know, sounds of phones, cars, you know, everywhere, that we've been accustomed, that we've been kind of, our vibration is shifted. So we need to counteract that with some healing vibrations. And so maybe that's why there's a need in the greater society for this type of work.
Yes. And with my own experience, it just resonates, and it's just like everywhere that I have tightness or something that I couldn't let go, the sound of the gong, or even, you know, I have drum, which I have no idea. I just listen to it and I love
it. Daf, no?
Daf, yes. The Daf, and then, you know, the shakers, you know, from the shamans. It just all helps me to bring myself back quicker, rather than my mind wants to go so many places. So it just centers me and grounds me more. And then, the next question would be, do you practice yourself, or you suggest some easy, simple ways to bring ourselves back to ourselves? And I'd call it self-mastery, because no matter what's going around us or outside of us, we have a control of the inner world. And then for everybody is different. So what is your suggestion about something fast, simple? I know it's not a pill, just, you know, take it and everything is going to be glory. but something practical with this busy lifestyle that we have these days.
Mhm. There's so many really amazing ways to do this very simply. So one, you haven't had a little shaker over there. I will sometimes sit and use a rattle like that and shake, close my eyes, meditate, and just shake. Sometimes I'll sing with that or just make sounds like, anything that we can do to like change our vibration. It's really simple. It doesn't matter how it sounds. I personally, when I first started doing this and I didn't have a lot of tools, I didn't have a lot of gongs or instruments. I just had one little metal Tibetan bowl. And so in my meditation, I would just sit and I'd play the bowl, just listen to the sound of the bowl and let the bowl's vibration kind of change my vibration to what it was. And so very simple things like that. I hesitate to tell people that there are apps and that you can listen to sounds, but you can. I have a whole album of singing bowl playing. It's about an hour of singing bowls that a lot of people that have told me that they listen with their headphones and it really just helps, calm them down. So we can use these tools like our phone as well if we have no other option.
Yes.
But the best thing, this is for me, is just get out in nature, away from cars, away from everything, and just listen to the sound of the birds, listen to the trees moving in the wind. That to me is just brings me into an alignment, with my true nature.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, I cannot say enough about the nature and the power of, grounding and coming to our own senses or self. So for the person that is interested and very new, have no idea what it is, what do you think, where is the starting point to get into the sound healing or practice or experience it?
Well, nowadays, it doesn't matter what city you're in or where, if you're in the Phoenix area, like we are, there's sound events and sound classes happening many, many places and, multiple times per week. So it's really easy to actually just go to a studio, a yoga studio or meditation type place and experience, sound healing, a sound bath or something like that. And typically that's going to be one of the best experiences to fully, if no one's had any experience, to just go experience what it's like. And then from there, if they like it more and they want to go deeper, maybe they do, get a bowl or they get a rattle, or maybe they, do some more private work, because you can work privately with some of the practitioners. But yeah, I think it's a buffet. I look at all the events now happening and I think I would like to go to that one. I want to go to that one. There's too many of them. So there's a lot of things. Yeah. A lot
of good things happening, especially here in Phoenix area. There's no shortage of that for sure. Being Sedona. So I'm going to have one more question while I have you here, and then is how it's just like how you ground yourself. Like, is there any routine daily practices that you ground yourself? Because we are all human. After all, we are all human, right? No matter what we are doing, we are still in this world and we are human. And there's a lot of interactions. So how do you ground yourself?
I kind of have a routine, and it's not something that I try to do. This has just become habit. Yes. And that is that every morning and every time before I go to bed at night, I do sit and I sit in just quiet, and I just feel my body and I feel gratitude. I always come back to that, just coming back to how grateful I am for everything. And if my mind has got a lot of things on it, I just find gratitude for the fact that I have a mind and that it's working in my best interest. And, I just say thank you. That's my like daily grounding practice. I have other ones, if I'm really not feeling grounded, which sometimes happens if I'm traveling a lot or if I'm very busy, I do go out into nature, and I like to just be in nature. Nature's a little bit more powerful. It's like, it's deeper medicine. and then take my shoes off and touch my feet to the earth, you know.
The creek or this, you know,
Yeah, anything like that. Yeah, that's really good.
That's wonderful. Anything else you would like to add to this interview for the people that's the first time they're watching and they have no idea about the connection between the soul and the spirit and the body and the mind?
Well, you know, we could go for hours. There's, you know, the connection between our soul, our body, and sound is very unique. And, you know, I would say that like most of the spiritual traditions, they involve sound for a reason. You know, the call to prayers, the church singing, sound takes us closer to God if you believe in God. And even if you don't believe in God, you'll feel like there's something there, you know, there, it's a heart opening experience. Yeah. So sound is kind of a bridge, you know, and I think that that's kind of what we need to remember is that we're very much concerned with the material world in which we live all around us. But when we get into the field of sound, which is vibrations moving through space, moving through our bodies, we're now moving into more of a non-material realm, you know, an energetic realm. And so just having these types of experiences, even if it's just listening to your best music and dancing, you know, it's a way of really connecting with something beyond this material world. I find that to be very, very important in our lives because we can get very caught up in what do I got to do and, you know, all of this.
Next thing and the next thing and the next
thing. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate your time and your wisdom and that you accepted my invitation. And I'm sure we're going to talk about more all your classes and all your trainings. And I will post for everybody to follow if they want to have like one-on-one training or come to your classes for sure. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you so much. It was great.
Have a good evening.
Okay, you too.